Okay, welcome to the Basic Computer Repair and Networking Chapter 8 Video and Audio Systems Presentation Lecture. Please make sure that you have the note guide that accompanies Chapter 8 so that you can get the notes and important points and concepts as we go through and discuss video and audio systems. Now, video systems and display aspects, similar pieces of the video system and the ability to display graphics and pictures as well as video. The video display system consists of a display and a video adapter. This is what allows the computer to project images onto a monitor screen. The video display system is often called a video card or a graphics card. Those are within the tower or inside of a laptop plugged into the motherboard. Display quality always depends on the color display values and the display resolution that the monitor is capable of. Now, if we take a look at this, when we analyze what a monitor is capable of displaying, we have to take a look at color display values. This is determined by the number of bits used to represent individual colors, such as red, green, and blue. Now, the number of bits can also determine the possible number of shades. So if we take a look at the color display value, obviously the more bits is going to impact the number of colors. 8-bit is 256 all the way through to 64-bit, which is also considered deep color, which is a lot more colors. So the more bits, the more colors, the higher the definition, clarity, and resolution of the video display. Now, the display resolution, if we take a look at what resolution is the amount of detail a monitor is capable of displaying. This is determined by pixels. The number of pixels that can be pushed through to a monitor or a screen is going to impact the resolution. A pixel is the smallest unit of color that a screen can display. Now, the first PCs that we saw way back when personal computers first started becoming household pieces of equipment were monochrome. Monochrome is just one color, usually amber or green. Over the course of time, obviously, computers have evolved, and now we have color graphics adapters, or CGA, which is a video standard that features two resolutions, 320 by 200 in 4 colors and 640 by 200 in 2 colors. And color monitors is what we usually enjoy today. Monochrome monitors have become obsolete and are no longer used except for some rare cases. Now, the display resolution, if we take a look at an EGA, also known as an Enhanced Graphics Adapter, it's a video standard used to improve the resolutions and the color capabilities of the CGA standard. Now, a video graphics array, VGA, is the baseline for video adapters. It's actually also the type of connection that goes into a PC in order to display video through a monitor or through a projector, a VGA cable you may have heard before. Now, a color palette is a collection of possible different colors, usually in degrees or shades, which can be displayed on the monitor. Continuing on with display resolution, if we take a look at a multicolor graphics array, or MCGA, this is a video standard supporting CGA and also providing up to 64 shades of gray, so extending or increasing the amount of colors that can be displayed on the screen. Super VGA or SVGA supports 16 million possible colors in various resolutions, which are some of the resolution parameters that we can set on our monitors now. You might have seen some of these when you are personalizing a PC. Extended Graphics Array, or XGA, is a video standard that supports resolution of 640 by 480, which is 65, 536 colors, or 1024 by 768, 256 colors. Now, types of video displays, we've seen these before. Obviously, computer and television display technology have become more similar. As a matter of fact, some of us actually watch TV and watch a lot of videos on our PCs, maybe even more so than we do in our television sets. There are several types of displays. There's a cathode ray tube display, which is an older display, the LCD or liquid crystal, and gas plasma display. Let's take a look at the CRT, or the cathode ray tube. This is a glass tube in which electrons are used to produce a picture. Very, very old box-type TVs are cathode ray tube TVs. Electron guns are located at the back of the CRT. The deflection yoke, which is an area that contains electromagnets used to deflect the electron beam in a CRT. The shadow mask determines the dot pitch of the monitor. The persistence is the continuation of the glow after the electron beam ceased to strike the phosphor areas. And then finally, the correction of the remnant magnetic field is called degazing. So all of these are different aspects of the CRT, the cathode ray tube display, which is now probably the least used of the three that we're going to be discussing. Now, when it comes to the CRT, we take a look at monitor size. These are the big boxy type monitors that we're using CRT displays. Length from corner to corner determines the size of the monitor. Same thing with the television now. A 55-inch TV is measured from corner to corner. Viewing varies from monitor to the next, from one monitor to the next. And then there's also the dot pitch, which is the distance measured in millimeters between two color dots on the screen. This cannot be adjusted and is also the reflection of quality of the image displayed. Now, continuing on, the CRT refresh rate is the rate in which the beam sweeps across the screen. This is something that can be adjusted in the control panel. Now, a raster display, this method of producing a picture on a monitor uses a sweeping electronic beams. The sweep of this electronic beam is called the raster, and the complete sweep of the entire screen area is called a field. Now let's move on to some of the more common types of displays, like the LCD, liquid crystal display. This is a type of monitor using polarized light, which passes through liquid crystals to create an image on the screen. It operates on the principles of polarized light, the effect of electrical voltage applied on the crystal structure. Now, what exactly is polarized light? Well, that is the light energy composed of light beams with a matching wave angle. Backlighting from CCFL or LED lights is required. This is going to provide us with more of the high definition type of displays that are a lot more clear. Now, if we take a look at this graphic, let's take a look at an LCD display. This is how it works. The backlight there on the far left, then you have the voltage applied to the crystals to project the colors that is going to be shown on the screen. Then the polarizing filter is the light that is blocked and the light that is passed. The light that is passed obviously is what is displayed. The light that is blocked is not. Now, liquid crystal displays are usually known as LED monitors, which is a portable LCD screen that uses LED light. Now, a little bit different from that, OLED, or organic LED display, technology is made from carbon-based materials rather than crystalline. There's also passive matrix displays, which consist of a grid of semi-transparent conductors that run to each crystal that makes up the individual pixel. And then in an active matrix display, each individual cell on the grid has its own individual transistor. So within the the LCD liquid crystal display, there are different ways that that light is transmitted in order to produce an image on the screen. Now, if we take a look at the contrast ratio of a liquid crystal display, this is the numeric expression of the amount of contrast between darkest and lightest pixel on the image. Now, the higher the ratio, the better the colors will be represented on the display unit. Ranges are usually from 500 to 1 to 1,000 to 1. The brightness can also be adjusted. This is the brightness itself is produced by the backlighting, and the main factor for determining if the monitor will display in a bright environment. We sometimes see that our monitors will all of a sudden seem not as bright. If we are in a well-lighted area, it almost seems dark and we can't quite see what the image is projecting. So some of these different technologies will allow for adjustments to be made so that those pictures can be viewed in highlighted areas. Now, the viewing angle of an LCD is the measurement of the angle at which the person can adequately see an image. Sometimes you'll see on an LCD screen, if you're not looking directly at it, it doesn't look very clear to you. Today, viewing angle is less of a concern. However, it varies from manufacturer to the next. There's also pixel pitch, which is the distance between two same color pixels on the display area. Each color pixel is composed of 3 pels, which is a subpixel, one of each for the 3 colors that compose a pixel. These are also expressed in millimeters. Now, liquid crystal, if we take a look at native versus response time, let's take a look at native resolution. This is the resolution that matches the pixel design of the display. Resolution other than native solution is chosen and the image will appear slightly blurred. We've seen probably some images that seem slightly blurred. Products with the sharpest of image with the least distortion of the original images of text. And then when it comes to response time, this is measured in milliseconds. So a very, very small range of time. Typical response time ranges from 15 ms to 40 ms. In order to justify that response time, which is the amount of time for TFT pixel to display after the signal is sent. Now, monitor size and CRT. So let's take a look at the cathode ray tube. A monitor will display less than measured size compared to an LCD monitor. It's measured in a diagonal line across the panel. We've already discussed that. And that is how we determine the monitor size for either of these two displays. The aspect ratio, which can also be adjusted by the user, refers to the ratio of display, area's height and width. We can limit the amount of picture that we see within our monitor, or we can expand it to make sure that it covers the entire area. That can also be something that is adjusted by the user. Now, the gas plasma displays, these operate on principle of electroluminescence. It's actually a chemical reaction that takes place in order to display the image onto the screen. Unlike LCDs, gas plasma displays do not require backlight because of the gases that they have in here. Now, the only thing about gas plasma displays and LCDs, gas plasma displays normally do not have the lifespan of an LCD because of those gases. Now, when it comes to gas plasma technology, we take a look at the transparent electrode. That's going to be working also with the address electrode. And as it moves from the creation of the image all the way to projecting the image for the user to be able to view, it's going to go through activated cells. That's the actual gas plasma. And then finally, we will see the picture that will appear on the front panel glass. So a little bit interesting way that the images are projected. All of these are done in an attempt to achieve more higher definition. Now, when it comes to video adapter cards, these are what's going to allow for different monitors to be able to project higher definition displays. One of the ways to attach to a monitor is by using a video adapter card. You can also use a digital to analog converter, or a DAC, which converts the digital signal from the computer to an analog signal that is displayed on a computer's monitor. Those aren't necessarily needed as much anymore because everything is now HD and digital-based signals. The video adapter card is plugged into one of three types, either an AGP, PCI-X, or PCIe. Now, we'll talk about these different slots in the motherboard in a little bit. Video performance depends on the amount of availability in memory, so you have to have a high memory in order to run some of these video cards. Now, AGP versus PCI-X, these are just different. When you get the video card itself, you will look in your motherboard and find the slot it fits in. They're all different. They have different names. So if you find simply where it will plug in, then you know that you have it plugged in correctly. A PCI will not fit into an AGP slot or vice versa. So it is marked on the motherboard itself as well as the card, but it won't fit in a different slot. That's the same thing for the PCIe. There's a little bit difference as to how they project video images. Some computers will allow you to have multiple video cards, which will allow for split frame rendering, which each card is responsible for half the frame image, allowing you to project more data on the screen without as much taxing on the memory. Now, you can also have alternating frame rendering as well as scalable link interface. These are also different aspects of a video card that you might be looking for if you're looking for the proper video card to work for you. So make sure that you are looking and researching all of these when picking the proper video card for your computer. Now, when it comes to sound, let's take a look at sound here real quick, because sound is comprised of vibrations. Analog sound is usually regular intervals of sampling. And if we take a look at musical instrument digital interface, or MIDI, which we probably have heard of with some of our music, MIDI files is the standard for developing music synthesizers and projecting music. Audio devices that'll help project sound. We can do this through our sound card, which sometimes is connected to our video card. Microphone speakers, sound cards, and video capture devices are also common audio devices. Our microphone and our speakers. Microphone is input of sound, speakers is output of sound. and the sound cards and the video capture devices are used for video and sound. This concludes the presentation lecture for